Everyone have the mind. How many minds we have? Just only two minds. One mind is impure mind. One mind is pure mind. We have only two. How if we have impure mind? We have a lot of suffering. We have a lot of painful. We have a lot of anger, a lot of ignorance, a lot of greedy. So why some people is it the action is not really good. You know that the bad people, they want to do the bad thing? No. Everyone want to do the good thing. They don't want to do the evil. But why? Inside the mind is impure mind. Different on the family or in the background and the education. When they speak the bad word, liar, who want to tell the loud and the telling lie? No one want to tell the lying. But the mind, they have something stuck on there. They hide on there. And then when they speak out, everything is not truth, lying. Why some people speak is a really hard word? Because the mind is impure mind. If the impure mind once speaks or acts, the painful follow that one. Like the wheel, the hoof of the ox. Whatever the ox going, the wheels follow them. If we are impure mind, the painful follow us, suffering follow us, whatever we go, whatever we do. Sometimes you wake up, you feel like the mind is like to get angry or something. But you don't understand why today is my mind is like wandering or worry or whatever. That is impure mind. But we have deposit of impure mind, like a pure mind. That we need to change our life. The pure mind, what we like to say? We like to say like a mind is the forerunner of all good condition. Mind is chief. They are mind made. If with a pure mind, one speaks or acts, the happiness follow that one, even as the shadow. Our shadow never leave us. When the mind is clear, when the mind is purified mind, whatever we do, whatever we go, we are so happy about that. We are so happy about our life. We work all day, never get tired. Because the pure mind, we don't hate anyone. You look at everyone, it's like our family, like our friends, our neighbor, our brother or sister. The meaning is like that. But most of the people, we have impure mind more than pure mind. If we have impure mind, can we change it? Can we change to pure mind? Sure, we can. Why? And how about we have to change? Education can change. Like you are a student. Over here is a lot of students. When you learn, you graduate from your school, whatever the subject you finish, you graduate, it make your mind is higher. You know the meaning of the human? The human in Pali word we call manut. Manut is a high mind. The mind is higher than animal. Usually people have a life, animal have a life, but the mind is different. We learn about in the world, in the I don't know how about how to work. That is, we learn how to use whatever you learn about that they have before. You learn about that. If you learn about the history, because the history is already happened, but just to learn from that, you know about the history. If you learn about the history of the United States, you know how the Native Americans coming to the United States. You know about the Columbus, come to the United States. You know about the ship of the Columbus Joseph, Pinta Maria Nina, come to over here. You know about the pilgrim, come from the England to the Holland. They speak Dutch over there, and they don't want to stay there, and they come to the United States by the Mayflower, right? That is the history. And we learn more about the history about that. That is the knowledge that we learn. If you learn about the IT, you know about the IT engineer. Whatever you learn about that, you know about that, but it's knowledge. How to use it. But you never learn about the life. You don't know about our life. How we know our life, our mind. So we like to say to practice mindfulness. About the mindfulness. The mindfulness that we say in Pali, that is Pali word, is we call sati. Only one, mindfulness. But so I would like to share about mindfulness that I practice. I feel like in this room is like my brother, my sister. Don't pay attention about my English, but pay attention about what I am going to talk about. If you pay attention to my English, maybe you feel funny about my English. Why I practice mindfulness? When I was 21 years old, I really suffer about that. About who? About family. About my family. About my dad and my mom. Because dad and mom in my country, they have to, when they get old age, they need their children to take care of them. About the food, about the clothes, about the house, about the medicine when they get sick, because they don't have health care in over there. They don't have health insurance. They don't have Obamacare like a United States. They are worried about that. When I came to the United States, my mom and my dad, they are so happy that they say I can take care of them. I think about that. But at that time, I am a Buddhist monk. I don't go to work. How I have to take care of them? I don't have income. I want to go to school. I came to the United States, but I feel like I am blind. I am deaf. Why not? I see everything, but I don't know what is this, what is that. I cannot speak English. Even I am so hungry, I want to buy the food. But I don't know how to order. Sometimes I go to order the McDonald's. They said we don't sell McDonald's. Why you don't sell McDonald's? We sell Big Mac. But I know only the McDonald's. I cannot go to school because the monk, they don't let the monk drive. No driver license. So I feel like how I have to go to school, and maybe if I want to take care of my parents, I have to disrobe. Disrobe, you mean disrobe? Like to quit the monk, to go to work like a normal people. But I can go, but I can do anything at that time. So I ask myself, what am I? I said, I am a Buddhist monk. Do I know about the Buddhist monks well? I learned how to chant. I learned about the how to service the people. But I don't know about meditation. So at that time, I tried to learn about the Dhamma. And the Dhamma said that if you want to teach another people, you have to teach yourself. First, if you don't know about yourself, how you teach another people? But for the monk, have to go to talk, to teach the people about the life, about suffering. I have a lot of suffering. How I can teach the other one how to get rid of suffering? So I practice. I start to practice about mindfulness at that time. But the mindfulness is many techniques to practice. One of them, I use really easy way techniques. How? Just only breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Usually, we breathe in and breathe out all the time. But we never pay attention about that. It's not only breathe in and breathe out, but pay attention about the air in the nose. Usually, when you breathe in, the air from nose to belly buttons here. When you breathe out from belly button to the nose, it's really like a long. But if you get angry, you feel sad, it's really short. Breathe in and breathe out really short. So I choose the one techniques. Breathe in and breathe out. But my mind is not stay still. Breathe in and breathe out, but the mind is thinking about this, about that. I am so young. At that time, my mind is wandering and wandering. What I have to do about my life? I want to success about something in the future. I think about that. I think about my parents like 80%. Because my mom and my dad is stuck in my mind. I always heard my mom like to say, please, you have to take care of yourself. You have to learn. You have to take care of us when we get old age. I heard about that all the time. So when I practice, I count the number. It's easy to remember when you get lost. Breathe in, count number 1. Breathe out, count number 1. When close the eye like this, breathe 1 and 1. Breathe in 2, 2. Breathe in 3, breathe out 3. Breathe in 4, breathe out 4. Breathe in 5, breathe out 5. Stop. And start once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And start once again. Breathe in, breathe out. 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to 9, 1 to 10. If you lost it, if the mind, our mind is wandering and wandering, you forget what numbers is it. But at that time, don't feel bad, don't feel sad, don't feel angry to yourself. Why I think about that a lot? Why I think about this a lot? Whatever you want to forget, you still remember. But something you want to remember, but it's really difficult to remember. It's easy to forget. Like a student, they learn, try to remember, but it's really easy to forget. Why not? Because the mind is not stay still in over there, what they are reading. Their mind is in the lover, like Ajahn Panyakala like to say, the lover. You know about the lover, right? About the phone. Right now, their mind is only in the phone. So, when we lost it, we keep going again and again. Don't worry about that. Try every day. Sometime when you have time, just only breathe in, breathe out, and count the number again and again. You know, and after that, the mind is like a calm down. Calm down. Whatever you think, you worry about. You worry about this, you worry about that. And you have a lot of questions in your head. Why I was born in this world? Why that people is do like that? Why did people do like this? Why that people say like that? Why these people say like this? I hate that one. I love this one. You know.
If we look closely at the fabric of our days, we find that beneath the rush of appointments, the flicker of screens, and the endless stream of tasks, there lies a single, unifying desire. Every one of us, regardless of our background, our politics, or our personal history, simply wants to be happy. We want to be good people. We want to feel a sense of ease when we wake up in the morning and a sense of peace when we lay our heads down at night. Yet, if this desire is so universal, if no one wakes up intending to ruin their life or the lives of others, why is the world so full of conflict? Why is our internal landscape so often cluttered with anxiety, irritation, and a profound sense of lack? The answer, it seems, does not lie in the external circumstances of our lives, the economy, the traffic, the difficult boss, but rather in the very instrument we use to experience the world, the mind itself. To understand our predicament, we must first simplify our understanding of human consciousness. We often complicate psychology with endless categories and diagnoses. But from a contemplative perspective, we essentially possess only two types of minds: the impure mind and the pure mind. This is not a judgment of character, but a description of clarity. The impure mind is not evil, it is simply clouded. It is a mind burdened by the sediment of unexamined habits, greed, anger, ignorance, and a stickiness that clings to negativity. When we are operating from this state, we suffer. It is a mechanical inevitability. We feel pain, we lash out, and we experience a sense of separation from others. Consider the person who speaks harsh words or tells a lie. It is easy to label them as a bad person. But if we look with the eyes of wisdom, we see something different. We see a person who, deep down, likely wants to be honest and kind. No one enjoys the tight, constricting feeling of lying. No one delights in the hot, toxic rush of rage. But they do these things because their mind is stuck. There is a blockage, a deposit of impurity that hives within them, distorting their intentions before they can become actions. The tragedy of the human condition is not that we are wicked, but that we are often held hostage by these accumulated impurities, acting out scripts of suffering that we never consciously chose to write. This understanding brings us to a profound law of existence, one as reliable as gravity, the law of consequence. We often move through life hoping that we can outrun the effects of our internal state, thinking that if we just achieve enough success, buy the right house, or find the perfect partner, we will be happy regardless of the clutter in our minds. But the ancient wisdom traditions offer a humbling corrective to this view. They teach us that mind is the forerunner of all conditions. Mind is the chief. Mind is the maker. If we speak or act with an impure mind, a mind driven by scarcity, fear, or hostility, suffering will follow us just as the wheel follows the hoof of the ox pulling the cart. It is a burden we drag behind us, heavy and inescapable, no matter where we travel. Conversely, and this is the source of our greatest hope, if we speak or act with a pure mind, a mind that is clear, generous, and settled, happiness follows us like a shadow that never leaves. Think about the nature of a shadow. It does not require effort to maintain. You do not have to carry it or check to see if it is still there. It simply accompanies you, a natural extension of your being. When the mind is purified, happiness is not a destination we strive toward or a reward we earn. It is the natural atmosphere of our lives. We can work all day and not feel drained by resentment. We can encounter difficulties and not be shattered by them. The external world may remain chaotic, but the internal world has found its equilibrium. In this state, the boundaries that separate us from others begin to dissolve. We look at a stranger, a neighbor, or even someone difficult, and we do not see an enemy. We see a brother, a sister, a friend. We see our own human family. This is the promise of the pure mind. A life where happiness is as effortless and constant as our own shadow. However, realizing this potential requires more than just standard education. We live in a culture that worships information. From the time we are small children, we are herded into classrooms and told to accumulate facts. We learn about history, about the dates of wars and the names of explorers. We know that Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We know the names of his ships, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. We memorize the stories of the Pilgrims, the Mayflower, and the complexities of engineering and information technology. We fill our heads with the what and the when of the world. But how often are we taught the who and the how? How often does a teacher ask us to look inward and understand the landscape of our own grief? Or the mechanics of our own attention? There is a Pali word for human, manat. It translates roughly to high mind. This suggests that to be fully human is not merely to exist biologically, but to possess a mind that is elevated, a mind that is higher than the instinctual, survival-driven consciousness of the animal kingdom. Animals have lives. They eat, sleep, procreate, and survive, but they do not have the capacity to reflect on their own consciousness, to observe their own minds, and to elevate their spirit. When we focus exclusively on external knowledge, on history that has already happened, on technology that constantly changes, we are merely arranging the furniture of the world. We are not learning how to live. We are not cultivating the asterisk manat, the high mind. We can have a PhD in history or engineering and still be utterly illiterate when it comes to navigating a broken heart, a burst of anger, or a night of sleepless worry. True education, the kind that leads to peace, is the education of the self. It is the brave act of turning the light of inquiry inward to understand the only instrument we will ever truly possess. This journey inward is not reserved for the enlightened few living in mountain caves. It is a path necessitated by the gritty, heartbreaking reality of being human. Even those who dedicate their lives to spiritual practice are not immune to the deep, aching vulnerabilities that come with having a heart. We all carry burdens that feel too heavy to bear. For many of us, this burden is the welfare of our families, specifically our parents. Imagine the universal ache of a young person, perhaps just 20 or 21 years old, stepping into a vast, unfamiliar world. There is a profound sense of disorientation that can happen in life, where we feel metaphorically blind and deaf. We see the shapes of things, but we don't understand their meaning. We hear the noise of the world, but we cannot decipher the message. This was the experience of many who came to this country as immigrants. And it is the experience of anyone who has ever felt overwhelmed by a new chapter in life. Simple tasks become insurmountable mountains. You are hungry, but you don't know how to order food. You ask for McDonald's because that is the only word you know, only to be confused when the cashier asks if you want a Big Mac. It is a moment of humor, yes, but underneath it lies a deep, isolating helplessness. But the sharpest pain is often born of love. We worry about those we left behind, or those we are responsible for. We think of our aging parents, their fragility, and the inevitable decline of their health. We worry about food, clothes, housing, and medicine, especially in places where safety nets like health insurance do not exist. We want to be the hero, we want to provide. Yet, often we find ourselves with empty hands, unable to work, unable to drive, unable to fix the problems that keep us awake at night. This feeling of inadequacy, this gap between our desire to serve and our ability to do so, is a fertile ground for suffering. The mind spins in circles, asking, how can I help? What am I doing here? Who am I? We may even question our own path, wondering if we should abandon our higher callings to simply chase a paycheck, just to quiet the voice of worry. It is in this crucible of pressure, where the love for our family collides with the limitations of our circumstances, that the necessity of mindfulness becomes undeniable. We realize that we cannot help anyone, not our parents, not the world, if we are drowning in our own mental chaos. To serve others, we must first stabilize ourselves. So, how do we begin this stabilization? How do we take a mind that is jumping from the past to the future, obsessing over what ifs and should haves, and bring it to a place of rest? The practice is surprisingly simple, though not easy. We do not need expensive equipment or complex dogmas. We only need the breath. The breath is the only bodily function that is both involuntary and voluntary. It happens when we sleep, yet we can also control it when we wake. It is the bridge between the body and the mind. The technique for calming the high mind begins by bringing our attention to the physical sensation of breathing. Usually, we think of breath as something happening in the chest or throat. But true grounding comes from following the air all the way down. We visualize and feel the breath entering the nose and traveling all the way down to the navel, to the belly button. When we breathe in, the belly rises. When we breathe out, it falls. When we are angry, fearful, or anxious, our breath becomes short and shallow, trapped in the upper chest. It is the breath of survival, the breath of fight or flight. But when we consciously extend the breath, drawing it down to the abdomen, making the inhale and exhale long and smooth, we send a signal to our nervous system that we are safe. We are here. To aid this, we can use the anchor of counting. The mind is like a restless child. It needs a toy to play with, or a task to do, to keep it from running into traffic. So we give it numbers. We breathe in, and mentally count, 1. We breathe out, 1. We breathe in, 2. We breathe out, 2. We continue this up to 5. Then start again. Then perhaps we count to 6. Then 7. Working our way up to 10. This counting is not a test. It is simply a way to tether the mind to the present moment. It creates a rhythm, a soft cadence that lulls the agitated spirit into a state of focus. In, 1, out, 1, It is the most portable sanctuary in the world. You can build it while waiting in line, while sitting in traffic, or in the middle of a sleepless night. Yet, as we practice this, we encounter the final and perhaps most difficult hurdle, our own judgment. We sit down to count to 10, and by the time we reach 3, our mind has already wandered off. We are suddenly thinking about the grocery list, or replaying an argument from yesterday, or worrying about our career. We catch ourselves and think, I am terrible at this. My mind is a mess. I cannot focus. We feel anger and disappointment toward ourselves. But this wandering is not a failure. It is the nature of the mind. The mind is like a lover who is distracted. Imagine trying to have a conversation with a beloved who is constantly checking their phone. Their body is with you, but their attention is elsewhere. Our mind does this to us. We are reading a book, staring at the words, but our mind is miles away. We must treat our mind not with harsh discipline, but with the gentle patience we would offer that distracted friend. When you lose count, and you will lose count, do not feel bad. Do not feel sad. Do not get angry. Simply smile, acknowledge that the mind has wandered, and gently bring it back to 1. The magic of the practice is not in the uninterrupted focus, but in the return. Every time you realize you have drifted and you choose to come back to the breath, you are strengthening the high mind. You are choosing the pure mind over the impure mind. You are breaking the cycle of being stuck. As we persist in this gentle returning, something miraculous begins to happen. The sediment settles, the water clears, the endless barrage of questions that usually plague us. Why did he say that? Why is the world like this? Why me? Begins to fade. These questions often stem from an agitated, impure mind looking for someone to blame. But as the mind purifies through the simple dignity of the breath, the questions dissolve, not because they are answered, but because they are no longer necessary. We start to feel a profound sense of sufficiency. We wake up and simply are. We work without exhaustion because we are not burning energy on internal friction. And finally, we return to that beautiful vision of unity. We look out at the world, at the difficult people, the confused people, the suffering people, and we do not see them. We see us. We see that we are all just trying to navigate our two minds, seeking the light, looking for a way home. And in that clear, compassionate seeing, we find the peace we were looking for all along.